I still remember the heat on my face that night, not just from the flames, but from the weight of every insult, every laugh, every mocking glance I survived to reach that moment. People think the hardest part of becoming a firefighter is the physical training, the drills, the burning buildings, the endless hours of pushing your body past its limits. But for me, the hardest part was walking into that fire station for the first time and hearing them laugh, hearing them whisper, hearing them say I didn't belong there simply because I was a girl. But none of that mattered the night the sky turned orange above my head, because on that night, when the alarm screamed and the city trembled, the same people who laughed at me were the ones looking at me with fear in their eyes, waiting for me to take the lead, waiting for me to speak, waiting for me, the girl they mocked, to tell them what to do. But before I get to that moment, you need to understand how everything unfolded. My name is Lily Morgan, and this is the story of how I proved every single one of them wrong. I didn't grow up dreaming of wearing dresses or being the quiet girl who stayed in her lane. My dream was different. Even as a little kid, I felt something strange whenever I heard sirens. Other kids would look out the window with fear, but I would feel a spark inside my chest. I didn't know what it meant until the day a house 2 blocks away caught fire. I was 12, standing behind police tape with my mom while smoke rose into the evening sky. I watched firefighters run into that building, fearless, focused, powerful. When they came out carrying a little boy, something inside me shifted forever. I knew then that I wanted to be one of them. But dreams don't come easy, especially dreams the world thinks are not for girls. When I told my family, my mother worried, my grandmother called it dangerous, my cousins laughed and said I was too small. At school, boys joked that I could be a firefighter only if I carried kittens instead of hoses. I laughed with them, even though the words burned. But the fire inside me burned hotter. So I trained harder than I ever had. I ran until my lungs burned, lifted weights until my arms trembled, practiced climbing ropes, dragging dummies, studying rescue protocols. Every insult became fuel. But nothing prepared me for the Fire Academy. The first day smelled like rubber and sweat. Instructors barked orders before sunrise. But what shook me wasn't the training. It was the laughter from a group of guys staring at me like I didn't belong. One nudged another and said, "She's lost. The gym is 2 doors down." Another added, "She'll drop out before lunch." But none stung like Derek, the man who would become the biggest obstacle in my journey. Tall, muscular, ego bigger than the building. He evaluated me like a joke. During the first dummy drag, he whispered, "Bet she can't even drag a grocery cart." And the others laughed. I blocked them out and pulled with everything I had, crossing the finish line to silence. Except him. "Lucky start," he muttered. And that was the beginning. He mocked me constantly, every drill, every lesson, every moment he could. But it wasn't just teasing, it was a mission to break me. During hose advancement drills, he stepped on my hose line to increase the drag, pretending it was an accident. During the smoke maze, he whispered, "Careful, Barbie, don't get lost." And worst of all, during a live burn simulation, he called my name into a dead zone and left me alone inside a smoke-filled room. I could have died, but I escaped by following the wall, crawling through suffocating darkness until Marcus found me and dragged me out. When the instructors questioned it, Derek lied. "She panicked, sir." I wanted to expose him, but I couldn't prove anything, so I stayed silent. And that silence turned into resolve. I trained harder than anyone, woke up before everyone, ran more laps, lifted more weight, repeated drills until my arms shook. I became stronger, faster, sharper. Instructors noticed, trainees noticed, Derek noticed most of all. The better I became, the more he cracked. His jokes slowed, his confidence faded, his frustration grew. And then he sabotaged me again. During the high-rise drill, he knotted my hose. During SCBA testing, he sliced my mask seal. If I hadn't checked it, I could have failed, or worse. But I didn't break. I rose. And then came the multi-scenario final evaluation, our biggest test. Hose advancement, rescue, stair navigation. Revenge story, soft tone. Obstacle course, fire behavior exam, endurance test. I crushed nearly every part, pushing myself past exhaustion, past fear, past pain. When results came in, I ranked as an elite candidate. Derek too, but his face fell when he realized he wasn't number one. For the first time, he saw me as someone he couldn't beat. But fate had something bigger planned. A fire, a real one, a 4-story apartment building fully involved, multiple people trapped. The academy deployed us to assist. As soon as we stepped off the truck, heat slammed into us like a wall. Flames tore through the windows. People screamed for help. The sky glowed orange. "Squad 3, 3rd floor," the chief yelled. I ran in with Marcus and 2 others. The smoke was suffocating, heat unbearable. We rescued an elderly woman. Then I heard a scream. Not a child, not a resident, but a firefighter. Derek. Something inside me tightened. Despite everything he'd done, I ran toward the scream. Through collapsing hallways, choking smoke, and flames curling across the ceiling. I found him pinned under a burning beam, leg trapped, helpless. For 1 second, I remembered everything he did to me. Every insult, every betrayal, every sabotage. But I didn't hesitate. I lifted the beam with everything I had, freed him, and dragged him out as the hallway collapsed behind us. When medics took him, he whispered, shocked, "You saved me?" I answered, "That's what real firefighters do." But the night wasn't over. A little girl screamed from the 4th floor, trapped behind flames, alone and terrified. The ladder couldn't reach her. The only way up was the collapsing stairwell I used moments ago. Without thinking, I ran back inside. Heat hit me like a tsunami. The building shook violently. I crawled through flames, reached her apartment, broke the door open, and found her trembling on a table. "It's okay, I've got you." I carried her out as the building collapsed behind us, piece by piece. When the stairs collapsed, I smashed a window, stepped onto a ledge with her in my arms, and leapt toward the ladder. Hands grabbed her. Hands grabbed me. The crowd screamed. The mother cried. The captain approached, voice shaking. "Morgan, that was the bravest damn thing I've seen in years." The next day at the academy, people stood when I walked in, nodded, smiled, whispered, "Hero." Then Derek approached, head down, eyes wet. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I tried to break you, and you saved my life." I said quietly, "I saved you because it was right." He nodded, defeated, and for the first time, he respected me. Graduation came. Elite graduate Lily Morgan. I accepted my badge with shaking hands. I joined Station 19, a real firehouse, a real team, a real purpose. And on my first day, a veteran firefighter looked at me and said, "I heard about Easton Street. You belong here, kid." And I finally believed it. Derek wasn't my enemy. The fire was. The doubt was. The fear was. And I won. Not through revenge, not through anger, but by becoming everything they said I couldn't. So if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. You don't need anyone's permission to chase your dream. You don't need anyone's approval to rise. You don't need anyone's belief to succeed. People will mock you, underestimate you, try to break you. Let them. Because when the fire comes, it won't be their voices saving lives. It will be yours. And one day, you will prove every one of them wrong. Not through revenge, but through strength, through courage, through heart,
through becoming unstoppable. Because sometimes the biggest fire you ever fight is the one inside yourself. And if you rise from that, there is nothing in this world you cannot do.